Hello and welcome to Cannabis Marketing Live, all puff, no fluff. I am Kendra Losi. I'm your host today, and I'm really excited to bring on our guest today. Today we have Chelsey Moter. She is the CEO of Cannack, and you can see her now on the screen right next to me. Welcome, Chelsey. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. I am really excited to have you here and as our guest today. And I wanted to start off by letting everyone know we are going to be talking about inbound marketing, content marketing, SEO, and all the ways to bring traffic into your website, and then how to help it convert and how to use your content in order to help you do that. And Chelsey is the expert at this. So I'm really excited to have her here today. So welcome, Chelsey.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
As we get started, can you do me a favor and actually tell everyone a little bit about your background and how you got started in inbound marketing and how you got started in cannabis?
Yeah. So, I backtrack. I went to school for graphic design, then I got a bachelor's in web development. Didn't really like the code. And have been doing SEO for the past 5 years. I kind of found my passion with that and looking at the analytics, and it was just kind of like a rush to see, I can do something and make these, website traffic come up and the numbers go up and then increase conversions and make money for people online. So that was kind of, like my passion and my niche that I found my calling in for a while. And then last year, my company, my old agency, I had a feeling it was going to go downhill and eventually dissolve, just by some shady stuff. So I started going, I think in January of last year, or maybe November. No, I forget, a long time ago. I just started going to networking events, building relationships, learning about it. I've always liked cannabis, always thought, it's stupid to be illegal. So, I just really got out there, put myself out there, started building relationships, learning about it, and I still do to this day. And since then, since my old company dissolved around, I think June of the year before last year. And so, I just saw the way that the algorithms were changing and the way that AI and machine learning were kind of developing and how the algorithms were now moving towards best for the user kind of standpoint. And so it's a machine learning algorithm. And so it's really out of like SEO's hands, so to speak. You have to try and adapt to what this algorithm does on its own and its intelligence on its own. And so, that's where I kind of found my calling with inbound, was, looking at so many clients and so many businesses. I've seen every single business struggle with one area or another. You have to take a full funnel approach and, really have that customer experience, because your current customers are going to be promoters for your business. And that's the biggest thing is creating those repeat customers. I think in this industry is, that's going to be like your foundation, is really capturing, your customers and making them,
We're losing you a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Now you're back.
Can you hear me?
You're a little pixelated and you delayed. So can you repeat that last sentence for us?
Yeah. That's where, from an SEO standpoint, it still is very much effective and all of the principles are still there, and you still need to practice those, but it's not the sole thing that creates growth of a business anymore. It's more about what you're doing to attract them, how you're, getting them to convert, how you're keeping them delighted, and how you're, what the lifetime value of your customer is. So how many repeat transactions do they make? Do they, repeat purchases, just a lot of more metrics to the growth of a business rather than just looking at traffic and conversions and things like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that that's all the pieces fit together. And one of the reasons why I wanted to invite Chelsey to join us today is because given the limitations on marketing cannabis online, inbound and driving traffic to your website is incredibly incredibly important. It's a very large part of the overall picture, if you will, when you look at all the different marketing channels that we have available. Can you explain, there is some confusion people have around what is content marketing, what is inbound marketing? Are they the same thing? Are they different? Do you mind providing some insight around there and just in terms of the definitions?
Yeah. So, I think everyone has their own definition of content marketing and different types of marketing. But from my understanding, content marketing just focuses on content and marketing that content, and that's it. It doesn't focus on really defining your buyer personas, understanding your audience, creating content for that audience at every stage of the buyer's journey. So some people might go to your website and just be curious. They might have been looking for your content or looking for a service or information about your business, or they might be looking to buy right now. And so that's kind of like the psychology of where users are when they go to search for a problem and they're looking for a solution to that. And so that's where inbound comes in, is inbound actually touches on all of those points throughout the customer journey. And it creates content to make people convert at the stages of where they are in their decision buying process. Instead of content, rather, that's not really focused towards ROI. It's more, I guess, you could use it towards link building, you could use guest posting, blogging. Really, there's a lot of different ways to use that content, and that is a big portion of it, but it's involved and surrounded in inbound.
That's really interesting, and I'm actually going to disagree with you in terms of my understanding, because all the content marketing courses and what I've taught around it is all very much almost exactly the same thing of what you just defined as inbound. So it's funny that people within the space are defining it different ways, because I never approach content marketing without doing the whole buyer's journey and understanding who you're talking to and all of that. So that's really funny. Different definitions for that. So we're going to use Chelsey's definition today and stick with inbound marketing as what we're talking about. So can you explain to people why it's so important to the cannabis industry and to cannabis, B2B, specifically B2B in the cannabis industry?
So I think one of the biggest problems that is a lot of these ancillary businesses, like machinery, lighting, HVAC, all of the supporting businesses, ancillary businesses that support the actual touch the plant kind of businesses, they're all kind of scavenging around trying to find all of these businesses and the new licensed growers, retailers, distributors, and things like that. And they're having, all the salespeople that I've talked to within these companies, they're having a really hard time trying to find them and trying to make them buy. And so what I've seen is, you'll have a really hefty sales team with very limited marketing team. It might be one director of marketing or, maybe one or two people on that team, and it's not balanced. And so really, the same goes with inbound is, it's having that alignment between both teams. So sales will have one objective, marketing will have a different objective, but they don't ever cross over and are working towards the same goal. And so, that's where lead nurturing is a part of inbound. You're nurturing that lead that comes in and trying to get them to convert. They might not convert right now, but they might convert, 3 months from now. And so it all plays a part. You have your email marketing, your blogging, your social media, how you're engaging, and just being able to measure all of those metrics all in one source. That's kind of inbound, is that you kind of need to be everywhere, not just at one place at one time.
Totally agree. And it's so important. And when we look at what you can do for the cannabis industry, I think that that's where, to Chelsey's point, that's really key in terms of aligning your overall organization through the life cycle of the customer or the client, right? So if you were to give, what 3 things do you think are most important for people to use to get started with their inbound marketing? It looks like Chelsey is frozen. Are you there? There you are. Okay.
I'm here.
Perfect. Okay. What 3 things would you recommend to people?
I would say define your buyer personas. A lot of businesses think that everyone is their audience and everyone can buy my product. Everyone, you need to define exactly who they are, how they, how they act, where they hang out, and you'll learn a lot by defining your buyer personas. And then that will kind of set your foundation for your next strategy and how you develop your marketing strategy. Because then you'll know exactly what kind of content to create that will, you might have like, let's say, history, for example, you could have.
You cut in and out a little bit there. Can you back up to number 2?
Yeah. Okay. So buyer personas for one, and then develop your content for those conversions on your website. So that could be a white paper, an ebook, some statistics, some information, a good resource. Maybe you have, I don't know, something super unique, market research information. And then make sure that you put those on your website with a nice call to action, and that way you can see who downloads that and cover it up with a landing page. So in order for them to access that, gate it with a landing page that requires the users to put in their contact information, and that creates more inbound leads for your sales team to reach out to. And that's a different context of conversation for your sales team to have. So it's not pitching, it's not saying, hey, this is what I have and this is why you need it. It's more like, hey, you came to us and we're interested in what I have to offer. Let's explore this a little bit more. And so that changing that context from your sales team to more of an inbound way is going to help your leads convert a lot more better.
Absolutely. So number 1 is create buyer personas. So really drilling into your audience. Number 2 is to create gated content to really generate those quality leads. And number 3?
Email marketing and lead nurturing. Like, I think growing your email database is one thing, but segmenting it to be more personalized for every single email that you have is going to create better and happier customers. A lot of people will just have one email database with maybe only everyone in the cannabis industry or only B2B businesses in the cannabis industry. You can get more niche than that, and you can break it down and break it down and break it down. Mm-hmm. And, the more you consistently send those emails out with your special offers, get a birthday list going. You can target it by birthdays. You can do, different monthly promos, and really just, do webinars and podcasts. And that's how you get everyone, that's how you grow your audience and your little cult.
So what does that look like? If you're starting with the buyer persona and you're taking your content to your gated content all the way through to your lead nurturing, what does that, is there a good recommendation that you have in terms of building that life cycle or that journey? Are there any tools you use to build that journey?
I use HubSpot. HubSpot's I'm a agency partner, and so there's a lot of tools out there that might save you money, but at the same time, you're spending more time trying to collect the data and then putting it in a spreadsheet from all of those tools, like MailChimp, like your Salesforce, like your Google Analytics, your social media tools, and things like that. And so, getting all of those metrics to see what your ROI at the end of the day was, it was very time consuming for me as a business, but also it was time consuming. It would put on an extra 9 hours just to try and get these metrics, put them in a report for my clients. So for not only for me, but for other businesses, that's how I prefer to measure ROI, is just having it all in one controlled source.
Love it. That's really helpful.
Which is being in, yeah.
Which happens to be something you sell. So they use to work with clients.
Hey, you got to adapt. That's another thing I've learned in this industry, is that if you don't adapt and move with how the industry is going, you're going to get left behind and fail.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's really true. Okay. So I want to move from inbound marketing to talk about SEO. So when we talk about SEO, first of all, can you start by defining SEO for people? It's changed so much over the years. Let's hear how you define it, how you talk about it.
I think it's an important piece to SEO, but it's not as important as it used to be. The same principles still lie there. I think the one thing that's most significant is how SEO became about, and that's from, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, I think, who developed Google. And so they developed Google based on an algorithm that was able to define, link quality on each site and rank those sites based off of the inbound links that were going to that site. And so, backtrack from 2008 to where we are today, they've consistently made around 500 to 600 updates on their algorithms every year. So getting an SEO that knows all of those updates and have gone through all of those changes, at the end of the day, we're moving into a part where it's not one controlled search engine anymore. Now you have Alexa and voice search. We have our mobile devices. We have so many of these other different parts that it's not just one controlled algorithm or search engine. It's multiple. And now we have intelligence like Alexa who can determine their own answers and tell you what it is. So it's taken back a little bit, but the links are still important. The links and all of how you format your page, the underlying principles of SEO that's always been there are still what's important.
So I remember when I was working at the university and we were doing SEO, and I would always be able to explain it as like 5 things that were so important. And I know that with the algorithms of the last changes with the last 10 years, those 5 things are no longer at all relevant. But, you hear a lot about keywords, right? And you hear a lot about even the keywords and the search terms that help inform the content that you create for inbound. Can you talk a little bit about how does one find those keywords and those search terms and those questions people are asking to help improve traffic to their website, but also improve the content they're creating for their inbound marketing?
Yeah, so you can use tools like SEMrush, Majestic, Moz. There's a lot of them out there that are SEO tools. Some have better features than the other. You kind of just have to go through which one to find which one you like. I think Majestic would be more for backlinks, but you really, not only do you have to look at the search volume, the way everyone does it differently, but I not only look at one of these tools for the search volume, but I also look at Google Trends, and I see the search volumes on Google Trends, because sometimes they will be a little bit different, but you can't just rely on these tools either to provide you with all the information that you need. You actually have to do like an in-depth analysis and get your spreadsheet and go look at your competitors for those search terms, see who's popping up, see how they format their content, see what inbound links they have to their site, and look at the domain authority that they have established already, because then you're going to it's going to make it 10 times harder for you to try and rank for that search term, and longer as well. So if you have like a low search volume, high competition, then, there's not really, it's not balanced.
So if someone is trying to, sorry, she froze a little bit. Are you there? Chelsey, can you hear us? She had a lot of, we'll wait for her to get back to us. Chelsey had a lot of great tips in there and tools, and to her point about all that needs to be done and not just relying on those tools. Can you hear me now? Are you back?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. So, search engine optimization, people want to be found online when you're doing searches. Is there, whether it's Alexa, and I love your point about voice searches now that are even more important, and not just relying on Google. Is there any tips you can give to people that you have to be found online to help improve your organic ranking?
Yeah, so don't look at it like you're trying to rank one page or one piece of content for a keyword. I think that's a very big thing that a lot of people get wrong, and they're trying to use that. you're trying to rank for topics and subjects now. And so how you're going to do that is looking at, the different variations of that keyword and the context that users are going to be using that keyword. So there's a couple different things that I keep in mind. I'll look at do, know, go, right? A lot of users they want to do something, they want to know something, and they want to go somewhere. And so you can develop content around that. Also looking at your customer life cycles, that'll set the stage of the context of I had another client, and it was developing why are surfboards made out of polyurethane, or I don't even know if that's what they're made out of, but and then how do I surf and surfing, and so how I don't know, nonprofit. I mean, just things that people would want to know about that align with buyers journey, and that.
Absolutely. So that goes back to...
And then make sure it links all together.
Sorry, we missed that last part. Make sure it links back together for what? Oh, she's frozen again. Chelsea's always on the go. I have to say, though, while we're waiting for her to get back, first of all, if you're watching, make sure and tell us where you're watching from. I'm trying to bring in more guests from around the country, and to make sure we're not just representing California. Secondly, let us know if you're watching the replay, and if you have any questions or comments about this, be sure and put them in the comments field, and we will get back to you about those. And I'm going to just bring it back to me here while Chelsea's freezing. Chelsey, if you can hear me, let me know when you're back. Otherwise, I really want to... She's giving us a lot of great information, and I wish the Wi-Fi quality was a little better, because it's really important to be able to understand how this all works together. So you want to be able to use those search terms and research those questions people are asking about the different... to understand that what questions people are asking about cannabis and your business and our industry, in order to understand what to bring back in terms of what to include in your content. I loved her go, no, or do. It sounds like she's coming back in. Awesome. Okay, let me grab her back. Okay, Chelsey, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, I can't.
Yeah.
Hi guys, we're bringing Chelsey back. We lost her for a minute. Okay, I was just saying how much... You're frozen again. I was just saying how much I love your go, no, and do. I've never heard that before. Usually it's like how or what or why someone wants to know something, but I like your more actionable terms that you use and keep in mind. Those are awesome. So we lost the last part of what you were trying to tell us. Do you remember what you were saying? Are you there? Chelsey, come back. Okay, well, we're trying to get Chelsey back online so we can hear her. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, there you are.
I'm here.
Perfect. There she is. Okay, I don't know if you heard me. I was wanted to hear the last part of what you were saying, because the information is so important and so valuable to people. Oh, look how clear you are, too. You're not pixelated. This is amazing. She's back. So that last part you were just talking about, do you mind repeating that for us?
Yeah, so you really just want your content to have some sort of relevance to each other. And so in order to tell the bots that, you should link internally your pieces of content together that are within the same topic that you're trying to rank for.
And what does that benefit someone?
That allows search engines to see the relevancy between each pieces of content and each article. And so if you have one main keyword that you're trying to rank for overall for your overall website, use link those type of anchor tags throughout your website, and that way the bots will know exactly what's most important, what your website's about.
Absolutely. And one of the things that when I was working at the agency, one of the things that clients would struggle to really understand is that SEO doesn't take effect overnight. So, and that's where the power of inbound marketing comes into play. Can you talk a little bit about that and why?
Yeah. So it does take quite a while. But it, on the other hand, it can't. It really just depends on your resources that you have available and how much time and effort you can put into it. A lot of smaller businesses don't have the time to hire writers or a full-on marketing team, or their businesses, on enterprise level might be able to have a bunch of writers, and so they can create, blog articles maybe 16 times a month and produce 16 different articles a month. Maybe a smaller business can only produce maybe 4 articles a month. So it really depends on your budget, your time frame, and your goals. And it takes a while. I mean, the search engines, it can index your site pretty quickly. It doesn't take too long, maybe a couple days to a couple weeks, to really start noticing. And once they start noticing the consistency, then it starts to you're starting to build that good, that asset of content there. And so then it's going to look at that, and as well as your inbound links, coming towards it, and, it'll start to take effect. You'll see the metrics happen year over year, and even 6 months, not anything that's going to be right away like paid advertising, but, you'll see it, you'll see some traction within 6 months to a year, and then year over year, you see the most significant results.
And I've seen this firsthand, and Chelsey, I know you have too, is that leads that come in from inbound SEO, any of those types where they're coming into your website, are by far better. Like, they would convert, I would say, I don't even remember the numbers, it was like 10 to 20% more than the paid leads that we would get would convert, or that I've seen for across all clients, would convert at like 1 to 2%, maybe 4 on a good day. But the inbound leads would convert around 20 to 25%, which is a huge difference.
It is because somebody is on your website because they searched for it. They have a problem. They are looking for information, and they're on your site. The problem that I see a lot of these will have, is that they just have the contact form.
Right.
And that's it. And they're just hoping to get people to say, contact me. But it doesn't work like that. A lot of people are looking for prices. If you don't have your prices listed there, then they're going to go and look at an alternative that does, and you lose them right there. And so that's why really understanding the buyer's journey and providing them, a helpful solution. The downloadable content is one thing. Call to actions, getting them to stay on your site, and subscribe to your email list is another. Having the chat boxes, getting them to convert right then and there. We're in a time where people want the answers now, and if they don't, okay, bye. And so you can really easily lose them, and you want to capture them and make it super easy. So the chat boxes, I think, are a really big converter, because you can instantly have a conversation with somebody at your business and get your answers right then and there.
Absolutely. And it makes such a big difference. One of my favorite things is that, and I'm not going to use my client's name, but I have a client that I've been working with for a while, and I have been trying to get them to take the Apply Now button off of the homepage, because it's on the hero banner above the fold on the homepage, and that's not, people aren't going to apply because they don't know who you are. It's like asking someone to marry you just by as you meet them, which is my favorite analogy, because it's true. You're not going to ask them, it would be ridiculous if someone asked you to marry them as they're introducing themselves, which is essentially what you're doing. And so, it's just, I'm not saying take it away, but it's just move it. Start with a, hey, how are you doing?
I think, one of my consultants, he gave me a really good analogy. It's like going to the doctor, right? You know you have a problem, but they have to ask you questions in order to know exactly what the problem is. And so you as a business, providing all of the information of these different variations of problems is going to help people find you and, make it a lot more easier, rather than just, hey, I'm here and I provide this solution.
Right. Exactly.
It's about understanding, like, you being the expert in your industry and what you're doing and understanding all of that. That's going to help people convert a lot more when you handhold them through the process instead of just, hey, submit a contact form.
Right. And
or apply now.
Right. And that's really important too, because like, no one wants that. No one wants, it's always entering the like conversation that's going on in someone's head. And that's where the buyer's journey becomes so, so important. And I love what you were just talking about in that analogy, because it's true. Someone might be ready to buy, but they also might be just like trying to do their initial research in order to take it to someone who actually can make the decision. You don't know who's hitting your site when they hit it that first time. And so just relying on apply now or contact us is not how we need to move forward.
Yeah, there's such with the problem with the minute a salesperson goes to approach or make that call, you're shut off. It's like, all right, no, I don't need you. I'll come and find you when I'm ready. Or there's that level of deception, and so there's a psychology to it with inbound that flips the entire conversation instead of pitching and trying to go out, and I think that's where an adaptive business model really could benefit you in the cannabis industry now, rather than the traditional business model of having a sales team and a marketing team with different objectives.
Oh, that's the worst. Yeah, I know, absolutely. And I think that once again, that this is such an important channel for cannabis companies that I don't see a lot taking advantage of and doing it well, because it's just, you're bringing in those leads, and the industry, as it's exploding and we're limited on what we can advertise, like, this information that Chelsey has and that she's sharing is so vital. I have one more question about SEO for you, right? It's complicated. You've mentioned some tools that help, and it's interesting that you didn't mention Google keyword tool, because that one's always one we've used in the past, and since Google pulled most of its cannabis words, it's no longer available. Thank you, Google. So when we look at, you talked about how to get started. Honestly, SEO is so complicated. Is it worth someone trying to do it themselves, or is it just better to put it off until you can afford an agency?
I think, if you are really passionate and want to do it on your own, then the Google has a plethora of information that you can pick up, the most important principles and apply that to the content that you create. Mm-hmm. But if you are just limited on our resources, then have the budget to invest in it, and don't go for the ones that say it's, handle you for $300 a month or $80 a month. Those are most likely going to be, link farms that are going to get you penalized in the long run. I've seen it so many times.
Oh,
I had this client, and he was corporate housing over in Australia, and he came to us, and we had to clean up all that stuff. And then he wonders why his business has gone downhill because Google penalized him for having all these bad backlinks. So yeah, they'll sit on it, and you'll get results really fast. That's a red flag for sure.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Can you define two things for people? One is link farm, and two is backlinks. I just want to make sure everyone knows what those mean.
Yeah. So a link farm, or, it's essentially it's a collection of PBNs, which is private blog networks. So let's say I went out and I bought, I'm in the cannabis industry, and I bought all of these different websites that were all of these domains that pretty much were like on THC, CBD, on all different verticals, but all similar to cannabis. And then I created content on all of those farms, and then got backlinks from all of those. So I raised the authority on those sites, and then provided backlinks to my site to try and boost it. And so Google, it'll take a little bit, but it'll understand they're cracking down on these link farms and seeing where you link out. And so it's not going to help you right now, or it'll help you right now, but it's not going to help you in the long run.
Absolutely. And if you think that that sounds like a crazy description, what Chelsey just described, it absolutely happens across every industry. Every industry has link farming, and every industry has this where you get those emails that are like, ooh, we can get you organic reach and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And they do not work. You're going to end up with penalties to Chelsey. Sorry, what is my problem today? To Chelsey's point. And you're going to end up with penalties that aren't going to get you anywhere. And you're actually going to end up worse. I actually almost had a client cry. This guy was on the phone and he owns this big company. And he was so angry at his past decisions because Google penalized them. And then it took him like a year or two to get back up to where he was before. Backlinks to can you tell us what that is? Just define it for us, please.
Yeah, so I actually just did a huge slideshow on backlinks in link building, but there's a lot of different kinds of links that you can acquire. Essentially you want a diverse backlink profile, so you need the no follow links and the follow links. The follow links pass authority and juice to your site. The no follow links don't pass very little, probably maybe 10% of authority to your site. It's important that you don't only focus on those PR links, and the higher authority sites. You need a mix of both. So sometimes you can get those from directories, from creating profiles, doing guest posts. Let's see, just doing interlinking, you can create, if you have really great content, like a resource kind of content, like if you're the first one that come up with some metrics or have a resource list or a database or something, that's going to earn you natural links, which people are going to want to link back to you naturally because you provided that resource and nobody else has. So that's why your content is king, to try and create those natural backlinks. When other people are writing about that specific topic and searching for resources and things like that.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how many emails that I got when I worked at the university and ran the marketing there. But even at my client's office, we've really been increasing the inbound marketing that we're doing there. And all of the emails that start off, hey, we noticed this blog post that you have. Can we have one too, from an audience that's not even related to cannabis, or not even related to what we're doing, because they want those links. And it's amazing to me how, it's like 3 a week that they get.
Yeah. And a lot of things, if you notice, I get them too. I get a lot of people asking to submit blog posts and the problem is you're asking for a link. The moment you say the word link in an email, it's an automatic no. Right. Total defensive. I don't even look at them anymore. No. And another thing, the way that I acquire, my links is my follow-up is, totally freaking consistent. And I might not get responses right away. That's okay. I'll wait a little bit. I'll follow up. And I make sure that it's, 3 or 4 touch points before, it's completely, I call it off and quit. And majority of the links, if you're doing outreach, you'll get a response on the second follow-up.
Yeah.
Always.
It's really, if you're doing it legitimately and you know the audience. There are,
and how you don't just, can I submit a guest post? I'm really interested in blah, 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 blah. You have to say something super nice and compliment, and then give, maybe 3 bullet points of different topics and explain exactly what you're thinking about. Maybe provide some examples of past work that you created. And yeah.
And that's how you do a pitch for a link and a guest post, to be able to get some of that extra, content across the web. That is how you do it. You do not respond if someone's sending you emails asking for links. Or also, one I've seen too lately is, I'm looking to get into the cannabis industry and I really wanted to write, I'm just new to it and I really thought it'd be fun to write a blog post on how to get into it, or what, no, you don't know who your audience is that I'm talking to. You don't know, they haven't done their research at all.
Yeah. I've gotten that a couple times too. This past week on LinkedIn, same thing. I want to get in. And so, I'm all about being nice. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, well, you need to on the Meetup app, get on Facebook, look up I'll invite you to all the groups I'm in because they're not searchable anymore. Right. So that way you can just go to all of these groups. And so I'll become friends with them and invite them to the groups, and they're off on their own. But your first step is getting out and meeting people and listening to what other people have to say.
Absolutely. And that works in person and that works online. So if you're doing that in person, just pull that into what you're doing online and the content marketing and inbound marketing that you're doing, and pull it into SEO, and you can tie it all together. So first, hi Jessa. She just said she was here and said hello to us. So welcome to the show. So the last takeaway we talked about is how to increase conversions on your website, right? Like, you've talked about SEO, we talked about inbound marketing and how to appropriately get people onto your website. And we even talked a little bit about gated content and not asking for that marriage right away and that application right away. What do you do with them when you get them there? How do you help them convert?
On where?
On your website. So once they get to your website.
To help them convert?
Yeah, so you mentioned chat. So you mentioned chat. Like, I think we've kind of talked about it throughout. But once they get to your website and you've pulled them in and you have that content, what are some of the ways that you can actually get them to convert on the website?
Like the chat boxes, the email sign up. Instead of saying, hey, subscribe to my blog, get something that's going to really capture their attention of your audience. Like, on mine, I include like a metric, and say, I think, the sales process has gone down by X percent. Well, here, want to know why? And then it gets them to click on yes. And then I provide the answer. And then I say, here, if you want to read the full article, then, we'll send it to you, if you subscribe to our blog. And so just doing something like that is going to make them, push it that much further. They want to know why, the sales process has declined by 22% in the last 5 years. So then I'll send them that article, So it's really about understanding that, like, context, that following through, make it something that they really want to know.
Absolutely. And to your point, the more specific you are in the buttons and even the verbiage around it, the more likely they're going to respond. So subscribe now or learn more isn't going to do it anymore. You have to be more specific.
Yeah, and include actions in your blog posts. I see so many blogs and they don't include call to actions. Like, you can have a downloadable content, within that blog post, or have something that says, like this article, you might be interested in blah, 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 blah. And then it leads them to another article.
Right.
So it keeps them on your site the entire time. And there's so many businesses that aren't doing that.
Absolutely. And these are so many great practices that you are telling people about. So I'm really excited that you're sharing all this information for us. Do you have any last thoughts before we go to the speed round?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
Awesome. So the speed round. All right. What is your current favorite cannabis product? And, to be fair, Courtney had to break it into types, right? Edibles, vapes, flowers, what have you. So feel free to do that.
Okay, so I have to be honest. Since it's been legal in California, I rarely go to the dispensary anymore.
Okay. All right.
I don't ever go. But I network and I hear about a lot of things. I connect with people and I know businesses, and I don't want to pay those outrageous prices. But I do like Cushy Punch. That has been illegal. That from when it was illegal, a couple years ago. It's just always been my favorite.
Your favorite
edible. Yeah.
Jessa's saying Slim Pin is hers. I haven't tried that one yet. I'll have to check that out. Do you have a favorite pen or flower? Are you a flower?
I'm not really. Honestly, if I do go into a dispensary, it's to get a joint so I can go to the beach and smoke. And I really don't pay attention to it or get super involved in flower like I used to be. Yeah, I mean, I'm down for trying things and new things, but a lot has changed.
It has,
So,
and it continues to change. Some of the new products are amazing.
I did like the Dr. Norm's cookies. Those were really good.
Oh, I remember you telling me about those when you got them. I didn't get over there no, because I can't eat cookies because, they're delicious, so I can't have them. Okay, next question. Indica, sativa, or hybrid?
Sativa.
Sativa all the way. Okay, there was no doubt. There was no hesitation. There wasn't even like a early in the morning, evening kind of thing. All right, love it. Know what you like and just go straight forward. What is your favorite networking event or conference that you've been to in the past year? I know I run into you all the time at networking events. So do you have a favorite?
You know what? MJ BizCon last year was an experience and a half for me. That was my first time. And I loved just the networking and the meeting people part of it. Not even the conference. I just like how it gets people out there and together.
I know.
For these amazing after parties.
I loved it, which is actually where I met Chelsey. Yeah. Even though she lives 2 miles away, we met in Vegas at MJ BizCon. And a plug, Chelsey put on, and I have been hearing about it from everybody, and I was out of town, but awesome pub night cannabis trivia event recently here, which has been several people's favorite event that I've heard of, or one of their favorite events. So good job, Chelsey.
Yeah, I'm actually going to trying to put on a bigger event now. I'm trying to find a venue and get a bunch of people to it and build the largest email list that I can. So stay tuned for that one. That I'm thinking might be in November, be a little after MJ Biz.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
In the new year, right? So the last question for you is, where can people find you if they want to connect?
On my website, on LinkedIn, and pretty much the 3 main social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and what's the other one? Instagram?
I'm adding there. Yeah, Instagram. Oh, yeah, that. So below, if you look in the screen, there is Chelsey's Instagram, her email, and her website address is available there. So if you want to get a hold of her, learn more about what she does. She gave us a ton of valuable information today about inbound marketing, SEO, and all the different pieces and how she's working with HubSpot. So I really want to thank you, Chelsey. Let me give you a moment to plug yourself and plug your business, and then we'll leave for the day. Call it. So one more time, you told us where they can find you. Now, what do you do, and what do you want them to do now that they see your Instagram and email and website?
Yeah. So if you're trying to convert your leads or interested in marketing automation and customer acquisition, having trouble measuring ROI from trade shows and social media, you know where to find me. I can help you. And yeah, I'd love to work with anyone. Just give me a call or hit me up on my email, and we'll see if it's a good fit. And also, if you're interested in working with HubSpot, just know that if you go through me, I can waive some of the fees for you. So there's that advantage too, so you don't have to pay full price. And yeah, it's really a benefit to have an agency on your side when you're working with the HubSpot software, because it is a little bit more robust and hard to understand, and it's a change for your business and operations. So it's definitely a benefit to work with certified professionals that can help you understand the software and how it works and integrates with your business.
Awesome. Love it. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Chelsey. Thank all of you for watching. Once again, put your comments and questions if you put your questions or any comments that you have for us in the comments box below, we'll both be going back in and responding to them. Thank you guys again. Chelsey, it's been awesome. I'm sure I'll see you soon. Join us, you guys, next week I'm going to be talking to Jamie Cooper about advocacy, social media, and all the amazing things she's doing in Michigan. So stay tuned for that, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks, Chelsey, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Bye.